international law can help women change the world by achieving equal rights and equal opportunities. And I want to just focus on one part of international law that's relevant here, and that's the 1979 Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, which was adopted by the UN General Assembly, as I've said, in 1979. What the convention does, and it's worthwhile just looking at it, you can easily get it on the web, it's quite a short convention and written quite clearly. It makes countries that have signed up to it undertake a simple pledge to accept to end discrimination against women. Now, it defines discrimination in very broad terms. It says discrimination means any behaviour that has either the purpose or the effect of denying women their human rights. In other words, and this is quite important, it covers both intentional and unintentional forms of discrimination. And I think here in Australia, we're often battling the effects of unintentional discrimination rather than intentional discrimination. So the Women's Convention, as I'll call it, requires countries who accept it to take legal and other methods to ensure the practical realisation of the principle of sex equality. And the convention's very broad. It talks about a whole range of areas where countries who sign on to it should take action: political and public life, international organisations, education, employment, health, financial credit, cultural life, the rural sector, and the law. This treaty is then set up and it's monitored by a committee known as the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, which is comprised of 23 experts. There's no Australian serving on that committee, but Elizabeth Evatt, a really very important person in law and indeed the public world for Australia, she actually chaired this committee for many years. Well, this convention, the Women's Convention, has a great number of countries that have signed on to it. In fact, it's 186. And if you think there are 192 members of the UN and this treaty has got 186 countries signing on to it, that's a fairly impressive figure. The most recent country to sign on to it is the country of Qatar just last year in 2009. Here in Australia, Australia became party to this treaty in 1983. The most striking country that isn't yet a party to the treaty is the United States, where there's deep political controversy about any form of international scrutiny of human rights, so the US is not a party to it.